I'm Toya.
Oh, I'm Camber. I didn't realize you were pointing at me.
Sorry, yeah.
And I'm Jessica.
I'm very good at
Mirror pointing.
Mirror
It's
stuff.
very confusing.
So
Not disorienting.
we are
at all.
at Free Play Arlington in Texas. Where's the part that we do the legal stuff? It's not in the notes.
Yeah, it's covered up.
I
So
think it's right above what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
We're
was
really good at
supposed to
this.
start. So it has been requested that I inform you that we are just lay people. We are not affiliated with Free Play Corporate and its subsidiaries in any way. Our opinions are our own and amazing and accurate.
Yes.
So that's true of all of us. And Free Play only begrudgingly lets us tell you them. I'm just kidding. They're cool. They're cool. But if we say something crazy, don't sue them.
Yeah.
That's
It's just
basically-
us.
It's a good disclaimer.
Come at us. Mostly
Come at
because I don't
Toya.
care. Okay, so now onto the fun stuff. I think I'm the only one drinking. Story of my life.
Yeah, this happened quicker than I expected it to. So
Do you need to get a drink? What do you want to drink?
I don't know. I'll take care of that in a minute.
So I am drinking in my Jeff Goldblum koozie, as I do, the Austin East Cider's honey, just because it's a good standby. The one I wanted was on draft, and the tap wasn't working. Rude. Don't sue Free Play. So I
one
settled, when it's like a panic drink. Like you
It's a
have
good
like a set of
fallback.
standbys where it's like,
Right, you don't
gotta
have this.
have to
Okay,
choose,
yeah,
I have
pick
to
this.
so it's one of my fallbacks, and I saw it shining like a beacon on the menu board. So I went with it, and it's delightful.
Yeah, usually when I do have a drink, it's whatever is dark on tap because they always have something amazing
Something,
and
yeah,
dark
that's
on
true.
tap. So
They've got, for a small number of taps here, they usually have a pretty good variety going. So I'm into it.
I don't drink. I usually just get like a good solid Dr. Pepper.
I respect that. I don't understand it, but I respect it.
Okay. Well, as long as you respect it.
I would never force you to have a drink, and it's just more drinks for us.
Yes, you can
Right.
have them all.
yeah,
Literally all of them.
I'm just kidding. I don't recommend that while you're on this stream with me.
Yeah, well,
I like to
Well-
have conversation.
I bet you
mean,
there would
I'll
still be
have
conversation.
conversations. Yeah, it's just a matter of what it is. So, so if you come out to make fun of us in the background, plenty of space. You can
Ample
have a
room.
honey cider, or what you can't have is Finn River pear cider on draft. Sorry, I already tried.
Specifically.
So, some of you are probably wondering, what led you to this point that you're on the internet talking about crazy, ridiculous things? So,
And pink rainbows and all our other great
this
sparklies.
is our homage to Lisa Frank.
It's very Lisa
I'll
Frank.
get to that.
I'm here for it.
in general. But Cameron, why don't you tell us how you found Free Play and started coming? And
Do we want to tell them first that we're like the
The
panda
pandas? Yeah.
embarrassment?
I'll get to that because that's kind of part of my journey.
Okay, you want to make that
get
as part
there.
of your journey?
Yeah. Okay, is that on the list?
It's like at the top, but
I can't see. Oh, panda embarrassment. Well, spoiler alert. You'll hear it in a minute. I'm going off book. We're going live.
dangerous. We like to live dangerously risky,
I like how they're like, I wrote a list out,
and we ignored it. We
You?
straight up ignored it. But
I
it's
mean,
cool.
I'm not straight up ignoring it. I am referencing
We're just,
it.
just
Just not
So Camber, tell us how
Oh,
you found
yeah,
Free
thanks.
Play.
oh
keeping us
hello.
on the.
So I live here in Arlington, like 5 minutes away from
Oh,
here.
that's
And
lucky.
so I had never heard of Free Play Richardson or anything, 'cause that one came
Oh.
first. Never knew that was a thing. Didn't know anything about barcades or anything like that. But then this one started going in, and we started seeing stuff about it online. And since I live so close, my brother and I were like, well, we're going to go down there and see, because we love arcade games and all this kind of stuff. And the first week they were open, we were here, I think, every single day, or possibly you might have missed one day, but almost an entire week's worth of coming to Free Play every day, because it was like the craziest thing we had ever seen. Didn't even realize this was a real thing. But ever since then, we have been here like at least once a week, just for the games. My brother's a big high score accomplisher, and with the unofficial community group on Facebook, there's all the high scores for all the games among all the Free Play arcades. So he could, I don't know, I think it is.
I think we went official. I think we
Oh,
sold
did
out
we?
to the man. Yeah, when
Okay.
Chris started working,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
official.
We have informed it's
Yeah.
official now. Either way.
it was unofficial for
Yes.
a long time.
And so yeah, so
That's
we
OG.
so I would come with him. He would try to accomplish all the high scores. I would pick some game and decide I was going to try to figure out how to be decent at it, and that game was Dragon's Lair 2. Because that's what was here when I first started coming. At the time, yeah. And so I played it obsessively, never stopped, and for like at least a month until I finally beat it. There's a picture of me hugging the machine and crying because that was the first time I beat it.
I feel like there are a few in the community group that like can share that like journey and experience.
And my score is the high score now on the community group for that game because it's just over the struggle.
Chris Paga, he did Dragon's Lair just the one.
He had both of them, but I ended up beating him on Dragon's Lair 2, and now it's not in the arcade anymore, so he can't take it back from me. Yeah, if Dragon's Lair 1 ever got here, I would play it obsessively until I beat it as well, but it's not here yet. But anyway, I always pick the like more obscure, weird games. Like I'm a big fan of Blueprint is a weird one that I love, and I tried to have the high score on that for a while, but Dylan Smith always sweeps in and just
out there,
destroys all my hopes and dreams. So that curse you, Dylan, the person who beat me in Puzzle Night. That I never am gonna have a first place in Puzzle Night because of him. But anyway, I digress.
He's got to like be on a work trip. I mean,
he's got to like not be here sometime. No, I love it's good competition. I'm not a super competitive person, but I do now come to most all of the tournaments here. Puzzle Nights are my favorite. The fighting games I'm not really a big fan of, but I do come and at least appreciate them. I did win one the other day, so I guess now I'm obligated to keep coming.
Yeah, but defend your title.
Yeah, I think I'm more known here as the one who cosplays all the time.
Yeah,
because I do that as a hobby all the time, but I've started doing it more at free play, coming as random arcade characters or what have you. Whatever Chris tells me that is showing up. Like, sure, I'll throw on a wig and some makeup and make it a thing.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
So Canberra also does on our official community group. If you're not a part of that, find it on Facebook. We're like 5,000
strong.
You're like more.
There's a lot.
And more people coming in every day. But you do our cause free play posts on Tuesdays?
Thursdays. I almost
started
forgot.
with a T. So you can keep a lookout for those. Those are always very fun.
Love to highlight. And basically, I am in the cosplay community, so when I see people I follow on Instagram post arcade ones, I'm like, save that picture, and I'm going to post it later on Cos Replay. So if you ever want to be featured,
awesome.
Show me what cool thing that you cosplay as. It's arcade related, and I will post it.
Nice.
I'm always looking
or
for
if
new
you
ones.
have one, when it gets posted, you can post it on the thread of the Cos Replay thread.
For sure. Yeah, people always are commenting other ones that go with whatever theme I picked for that week. So it's super cool. I like just to get a variety, see all the different cosplay out there. I've seen so many good ones since I started doing that. Because there's like some games like I would never just casually Google some random game like, is there cosplay for Galaga? And then it's like you come across one, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't know someone actually did this. It's fantastic.
I have a suspicion that you could probably find a cosplay for just about
almost everything. There's a few games that I love, like Diet a Go-Go. Like, how has no one cosplayed as these like super fit like 80s super? Yeah, so I want to do it now because no one else has done it.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a few games out there. I'm like, disappoint. So I feel very obligated now to fill in the gaps and cosplay some of these ones. So
and post it on the internet.
Yes,
far and wide
for all to see.
So I started going to Free Play Richardson. My friend Mary, who was on the last PandaCast, she I think saw it advertised or something and was like, hey, they have games and beer. And I was like, beer. So we went, and Mary made friends with Chris, who runs the community group. He's liaison. I forget his official title.
Community manager.
Weirdo, I think is what it's listed.
That's what it has on his business card.
Free Play Corporate and its subsidiaries that we are not affiliated with at all. And so at that time, it was the unofficial community group on Facebook. And so Mary got tapped to kind of help run that. So we therefore knew when every event or whatever was going to happen and started showing up. And for whatever reason, Chris enjoyed the fact that I have zero shame and will talk on the internet about about anything. So I started getting tossed into stuff like this. And I also will play any game in a tournament knowing full well that I'm going to immediately lose. And I just don't care. It's fine. It's fun. Have a good time. So I came to tournaments and all kinds of stuff. And this brings us full circle to the Panda Embarrassment. There is an elusive group of fighters. Some maintain there are females amongst them. I still call bullshit on that, but they and I found it. I do, in general, enjoy these fellas, but I found it to be rather obnoxious. Just my wiring. And so I just kind of as a joke, as a call and respond, wanted to create my own group of gamers that just didn't care. Not that we don't care. Just don't take it quite as seriously.
Yeah. We can have fun.
We're
still
mostly
lose
button
and
mashers. We've got some legit players amongst us
Yeah.
now. Our ranks are growing. But still a masher, will always be a button masher. And so I contacted Josh Featherstone, who does most all the graphics and things that you see for free play, and was like, hey, I have this silly idea, thinking of different names and what to call it, because the maybe exists, maybe it doesn't group is the wolf pack. So I was kind of going animal and theme, so I thought about a murder of crows, but that seemed a little intense. So he's like, well, did you know that a group of pandas is called an embarrassment? And I was like, ding, ding, ding,
This
we
also
have a winner.
happened right after you had a really good night at Tekken, which has the
Oh,
character
the
panda.
panda character.
Well,
yeah.
but I didn't put that together.
Oh, the
weirdly.
timing was amazing because it was the
You
next
would-
day or the
you would
day
think
after.
I'm not that good. You would think. Well, because later I was like, there was a panda gaming something, and I was like, what the? And they're like, yeah, because the panda in Tekken. I was like, well, son of a bitch. That's right. There is a panda.
You
But anyways,
are right.
so he literally 5 minutes later had made me a logo and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is getting intense. So I reached out to Chris just to kind of float it by. I'm like, I'm thinking of doing this. I don't want anybody to get butthurt about it. I don't want to have to read a disclaimer. I'm just kidding. Disclaimers are great. And he was like, go. Thumbs up.
Make it
So
happen.
I posted it and got way more people who were interested in it than I thought. I legit, full disclosure, just thought it was going to be kind of a silly joke that maybe ran for a couple of weeks, and then we all moved on with our lives. And now we have meetups and streams and all kinds of stuff, and it has grown so far beyond me, which is great. And people are running with it, and I love it. And so that is where the panda embarrassment came. And to our stream overlay, Josh made one for me that had our little panda embarrassment logo, and it had the purples and whatever. And he was like, I don't want it, because we're not all girls in the panda embarrassment. We have a lot of girls, but we're not all girls. So he's like, I don't want it to be too stereotypical. And I was like, lean into it. I want sparkles.
Yes,
I want
absolutely.
rainbows. Give me it.
That's the goal.
Exactly. So then he came back with this, and it just has that Lisa Frank energy that I'm here for as a kid who a chunk of my adolescence was the 90s. So
Yes.
definitely into it. So that's how we got this obnoxious overlay, and I love it. So that is a not short version of my story. We're going to kick it over to Jessica.
I can't top that. That's
Oh, well, it's not a competition.
I mean,
Just
unless
wanna
you're
know how you
winning.
got here.
well. So I had heard about Free Play Richardson when it had opened, mostly because my husband, we were at a game store in Plano, I think, and somebody had said something about it, and I don't know, it just kind of became a thing, and so he decided to start going out there and was out there a few nights, which is far from where we live. We live just a couple minutes away. And through that, he heard that, oh, they're opening one 5 minutes from the house. We live, da-da-da-da. Yeah. So the first few weeks it was open, I was here a couple times a week. He was here every day.
Little did you know.
Yeah, well, luckily he works here now, so he doesn't have to.
He gets paid to be here.
Yeah, he gets
every
paid.
day.
Yeah, rather than having to
So
pay
it worked
every
out
single
better.
day. Yes. So he is the lead tech here, but while we were coming in here every couple of days, I honed in on Gauntlet. Gauntlet was a game that I played a lot when I was a kid in Tilt, and mostly just at Tilt. And then seeing that there, it was a different version of what I played when I was a kid, but it's still this, just drawn to it. I love the beat 'em ups, and just kind of gravitated to the rest of the stuff while he was getting in on the fighting scene, and yeah, so here I am. I tend to, as far as the events and stuff, I I tend to more watch the streams when they
Yeah.
happen. I'm
Which is
usually
appreciated. You're in the chat.
yeah, I'm in the chat. I
Yeah.
usually, I'm just
I
there
see
to
you.
throw out a
I
panda
see you.
emoji occasionally, and cheer on my husband when he's, winning, losing, whatever. And here you go.
So, and there we have it. So, would you say Gauntlet's your favorite?
Gauntlet is If I had to pick a favorite, I have a few, but that would probably be my number one.
Right on. Dragon Slayer 2.
Probably Dragon Slayer 2. I feel like this has such a nostalgic, and I will definitely play it at every arcade I ever go to ever. But I mean, I have such a big love now for Total Nuclear Annihilation, the pinball game. I will cosplay as Scarlet
very
on the
fun.
back glass before I die.
Well, favorite pinball, favorite.
Okay, yeah, pinball can be its own
That's like-
category.
Yeah, it totally is. If I had to pick a favorite, hold on to your hats. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. It is legit the stupidest thing I've
It's
ever
like
seen
if you've
in my
never
life.
played it, you haven't lived your life yet, and
Truly.
you have to make it down
It
to
is-
one and play it.
And I wish this were an exaggeration. No, I don't wish this were an exaggeration. It is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But so delightfully stupid.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous
It's
thing that you
got
have to do.
Penis robots. It's got Michael Jackson rescuing children from kidnappers. He dances to kill people. What more do you want,
Yeah.
people?
Accurate. It's
So-
amazing.
Yeah. And is it still at Richardson? Okay, I was
think
about to
so,
say, because
yeah.
it was like a staple at Richardson forever. And anytime new people would come, I'd be like, come play this game with me. You're going to hate it. It's awesome.
And it's great.
And, my one gripe, though, about Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, and I think maybe it was the timing of albums, I don't know, but there is legit an entire level in a graveyard with zombies, and they don't.
Yeah, they never
play
play Thriller. Yeah.
Oh,
Who cleared that?
Which is just a failed, yeah.
But I think,
Was it a matter of-
maybe it wasn't on the Moonwalker album?
maybe I was gonna say maybe it's the timing of it. Like maybe was it out?
Well, and
like when
it's
did the game
based-
come out?
Yeah,
And then-
I haven't done a lot of research on this, clearly.
How dare you?
But because it's based on the movie Moonwalker, from what I've been told. So maybe it's not in the movie. I don't know. It just felt like, really, you're gonna have zombies in a graveyard and not play Thriller?
Yeah. It's a little
It's
disappointing,
disappointing,
but
yeah.
it's still, it's something all right.
It's still exactly, but it is still something.
Yeah,
And then
totally worth it.
I think as far as fighting games, I'm gonna go with Time Killers because I am the reigning and defending champion of it. I dare you to challenge me. You can't because the game's not here anymore. It won't ever be. I shouldn't say that. It may come back, but
but for now,
but for realsies though, Match or Melee is
It's a good one.
the most fun. It's a delight. Yeah. I don't think I have a favorite pinball though, because I suck at all of them.
It took me a long time to
not
want to, because I grew up playing Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Advance, and I
imagine
I
the
can
physics
get
would be a bit different.
yeah, I can get 5 billion as a score on there. I have some ridiculous high scores on that game, and then I came to play real pinball.
humble brag.
Yeah, I played well, I'm sure that's not even really good compared to actually good pinball people. But then when I came and played real pinball, I was like, oh, and it's always going down the little outside thing. And I still don't know the names of anything in pinball. I just point and the clacky thing but I mean, I was just like, man, this is hard. And
Yeah.
there's a lot more science behind it.
Actual
Yeah.
physics.
Tilting the game and different stuff is not something that applied on the Game Boy or on 3D pinball on your old computer. So
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's the real introduction to pinball right there.
I really like pinball, but I'm not good at it. But I really like the thematic stuff on each table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for
I like
sure.
all of the. I've been told that spooky pinball is actually a brand name of pinball. All the ones that are horror themed and spooky like that. Any of those, I will play them
Interesting.
and just to watch all of them.
I like the ones that have
Yeah.
a lot of alley-oop. It does a thing and goes in a hole in a basket. And it shoots
Yeah,
out
they have
from over
lots of
here.
spinny element. Yeah. for
What's
sure.
the one Guardians where you can shoot and Groot
Into
opens
Groot's
his mouth and
Right.
shoot it into his mouth.
Group multi-ball.
Yeah. That's why I love the machine Bride of Pinbot so much, is you can put it in her face and you have to light up her mouth and light up her eyes. It's my life goal to make it all the way through all 4 levels of creating her as a human. You're trying to turn her into a human. So you have to give her a voice, give her eyesight and different stuff. But I've never made it all the way. So I play it obsessively in the hopes that one
If
day
you do,
I can get it
the
and then I
game
will.
comes to life.
Yeah, it just stands up and walks.
So be
But,
careful.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
it's
power.
it's a future cosplay as well. I have a very pretty silver dress that I want to.
oh,
turn
I thought you were
into-
gonna literally
no, I'm not
have
gonna
a box
turn.
like
No,
a
I'm
pinball
not gonna be a
machine.
pinball machine.
but you
but-
should.
But a future event, I probably will be cosplaying as
A pinball machine.
the pinball machine because, it has to happen eventually.
I'm here for it. I'm definitely into it. Okay, so we've gone through. I'm consulting the list and I'm going in order now, in case anybody was wondering. So, Acon is a thing that happened that I know nothing
Okay,
about.
so
Acon, that's a thing, right?
yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Free Play had a big, huge, massive arcade setup at Acon, which is an anime convention that happens in Dallas every year. And this year it was out at Fair Park, and I've been a lot of years, and it was very different this year, and I was actually really amazed. I knew that Free Play had a presence, but when I walked into the game room, it was like gigantic. It was like a
Yes.
full game room. It was
Yeah,
huge.
it felt like walking into Free Play, but
Yeah.
at somewhere else.
Yeah, I was blown away with how big of a footprint it was.
So
awesome.
you said it was very different this year. Different good?
So
Disclaimer.
yeah.
Disclaimer.
So I've never been to Acon. This was my first year to go to Acon because since I started cosplaying, I've really only heavily gotten into conventions like this year, and so I had never been before. And literally everyone I told that to was like, "It's not normally like this. It's not normally." I mean, even Yaya Han herself, when I met her, was like,
I
"It's
heard
not
that
normally
story.
like
That was
this."
great.
I was like, "Ooh, okay." Even if she says it, it must be a big difference.
To compare, before we talk about what this year's was like, usually it's in a hotel convention.
Mm-hmm.
So the cosplayers have a much easier time of it because you have a room usually where you can go and change or
Yeah, or-
relax or be
yeah.
in air conditioning and get away. And you can go up and have several cosplays. You can go up and change, come back down, and
Yes.
do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also just air conditioned and great.
Yeah, like a
And-
nice big open air conditioned venue space, like most conventions are.
Right, and say you don't want to pay for a badge, you can just go to the hotel lobby and hang out, look at the cosplay, and do the thing. Like, you can do
Yeah.
a lot of stuff without having a badge when they do it in a hotel.
Yeah.
And they've done it that way for years. And this year it was in Fair Park. And I want to actually say, it wasn't awful, it just didn't feel like Acon.
Yeah.
So it was, I've been to a lot
We
of
fear
conventions.
change.
I do agree with that. It didn't feel like a convention,
Right.
like just in general, because it was just like this big outdoor, like it almost felt like a festival or something.
Yeah, if there were panels, I don't know where they were.
I never saw any panels,
And
because
I know
don't
that's
know
a
where
huge
they were.
thing. Like, they have all of these
That's a-
anime showings and, like, they
For
have
any
classes and
convention,
stuff.
you
And
gotta
like
have
famous people signing autographs. I never saw any of the celebrities. I don't know where they were.
Yeah, I have no idea where that even was at, but
Interesting.
I don't usually do that stuff anyways. I go to the vendor room, I do the artist alley, and I look at the cosplay. And this
Yeah.
year I played arcade games, and that was
Yeah.
cool.
Same.
So do you think it's because it's gotten so big, or were they just trying something different?
I think it was a try something new kind of situation. I also know that they've
So
been ousted
do you
out of.
hear us? Pull it back. Pull it back.
Yeah, I think they ended up like not being able to do it at their venue because
Yeah,
of
they've been kind of pushed out of a couple of the hotels
Oh.
that they were in because they used to
Yeah.
be at the Sheraton in Dallas and then the Hilton Anatole, and then they went to Fort Worth. And I don't know what happened with that. I know that
something happened.
something
yeah.
happened
Some
with that. And,
drama.
yeah.
I will say,
So they kind of had to get stuck with Fair
actually,
Park.
it changed ownership. Say, there's a hotel across the street from my office that would host all kind of manner of things. So I'd be driving into work, who are these people? And they'd all be going So I would have suggested that, but they actually just changed ownership, and I haven't seen any sort of
weird stuff
that
happening
stuff.
there.
Nothing cool since that
then.
happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing to look at outside of my office window. It's stupid. Now all I see are the Hooters dumpsters.
Ugh,
Oh,
And I
lovely.
literal dumpsters.
That's-
Don't at me, okay?
Could have gone so many different places.
I
with
just
that.
wanted to
It
make
could've
that
gone downhill.
clear. I am talking about actual dumpsters.
Yep. So Camper, you cosplayed.
I did. I went as Akira Ono from High Score Girl, the arcade-themed anime that's on Netflix right now. I feel like we just got wiggled around. Hey, look, there I am, learning how to play Zangief. Because that
Yeah.
is who she plays in the show. So if you don't know anything about the show,
I still need to watch that.
it's like a really one of those one-season anime kind of things. But it's about a boy who really likes the arcades, and he goes to all the classic arcades back in the day, like they used to have. And he meets a girl there who's incredibly good at fighting games, and that's Ono. And he kind of gets jealous at first, but eventually forms a pretty good friendship with her, and ends up kind of the whole awkward romance in animes and stuff. But then she has to move away, and then she has to come back, and he
Whoa.
has to teach some other girl how to play fighting games. It's a very interesting.
he has to
typical-
teach them. He has to have
Yeah,
a replacement.
Exactly. Some other girl shows up and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna force you to be good at fighting games."
Play Zangief.
And then she gets slightly better than him. I don't know. So,
Serves him right.
but anyway, it's good. I feel very I identify with Ono, even though she's way better at fighting games than I am. But she never speaks in the show. She only just looks angry all the time and kicks him whenever she's upset with what he does. So I'm here for it. So it was a fun quick throw together costume, and it cracked me up. People in the arcade would come up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, you are in the perfect place for this costume. Like, do you realize, like, because
Do you know who you cosplayed?
Yeah, and I'm like, I literally am here with
What?
free play
Right,
that
like-
brought this arcade. So yes, actually, I do know I'm in the right place. So that was
That's
fun.
funny.
People were excited. Like the 5 people that recognized me were excited. The couple
Hey,
people that
got
recognized me and thought I
recognized.
was someone different were also excited.
Hey,
And then I was
bonus
like,
excitement.
actually, I'm not that character, but thanks anyway.
It's like for Halloween, I spent a lot of time and did a very elaborate Holtzman from Ghostbusters costume, Kate McKinnon's character.
Yeah.
And we have a costume contest at work every year, and nobody knew who I was.
Like they
It
didn't even
was
know you were a
so-
Ghostbuster, like in
no.
general?
Well, because I didn't wear like the
Oh,
jumper.
like, okay.
Like, I wore a different.
I was about to
outfit
say,
she wears
that's
in the
really
movie.
sad. It
Yeah,
literally
no,
is
no,
like
no.
the logo.
That's when I went a little more obscure, so it might a little bit beyond me, but like not a single person. Like it was a huge movie.
Yeah.
It was one of the like most disappointing. But then that night was the free play Halloween
Yeah.
like party, and I showed up, and people were like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Thank God, my people, God,
someone knows.
because it
Yeah.
was just a very disappointing
Yeah.
day
I
all
will-
day,
it-
like
it is
just
disappointing.
getting
when
kind of head turned.
when you work hard on a
like-
costume and really no one knows who you are, and it's like, I'm not even someone that
and
obscure.
I'm like, and I nailed it. Like, come on. So yeah, that was my dipping my toes into the waters of cosplay,
Yeah.
and I liked it, and I feel like I did a great job.
The only
I'll
thing
show you
I've
pictures later.
The only thing I've ever actually cosplayed, I've done a lot of costume stuff. I'm really into Halloween, so costume is stuff I do all the time. But costume and cosplay are super different. The only one I ever did, there's a game called Dragon's Crown on Sony things, and like on Vita and PlayStation 4. And,
Yeah.
and there's a character that's called the Sorceress, and like I made everything. I like made I bought stuff and cut it to make it what I want. But I looked exactly like. Had the staff. I had somebody make me a staff that she had. I think like 2 people recognized me, and I went to Acon, and that's where people should have recognized me.
yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it was not a hit. But I looked just freaking like her, and it was awesome.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes you just have to embrace, like, I'm not going to be popular, but I'm going to have a darn
But
good
I know,
time.
It was an
right, and I
obscure
know
game,
I
so-
nailed it.
Like, I look amazing, and I'm okay with that. And
Yeah.
if I meet one person who knows who I am, it's going to be a good day, which is
Yes.
usually my
And
plan.
I did.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. So while we were walking around the vendor's booth, we did find something that seemed absolutely perfect for Toya. And I completely forgot that Chris had bought this. And it is this, like, Nick Offerman. What is
Yes.
he? Is he
I
fighting a
saw
bear?
that.
Ron
Yeah,
Swanson.
Ron Swanson fighting a bear.
He
Is pretty amazing.
I love him so much, and I love this so much, and he's got a Tammy tattoo. Ah, it's so great.
Yes, it was good
this is
times.
In case y'all didn't get,
Yes.
like,
There was
gosh,
some
why do I suck at this
really,
so much?
really good stuff in that vendor room. There were
Yeah.
so many really cute, like, charms and things if you have, like, Ida bags and stuff. And I'm in a pretty big cosplay group, and I went to a table, and there was some really adorable charms from the Dungeons & Dragons show Critical Role. And I, like, took a picture of all of them and sent them to my group, and they were all like, okay, we're placing in
me-
order. I want this one and this one. So
Also, you,
I
I'll
came
Venmo,
away with,
PayPal.
like, handfuls of charms that I got to drop off to them next weekend when we all hang out
That's,
again.
I
So
can
it's
drop some
perfect.
money on a convention room vendor floor.
Very easily.
Yeah, I took out cash, so I had a limit.
I try
I
to do that.
only
yes,
used my
I do that
card
too.
2 times after I.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do
Actually,
that too.
this I didn't buy it at the convention. The company that made this, Illuminidal, #nonspawn, I bought other stuff and I started following them on social media, and like 3 days later they were like, check out our new koozie, and I was like, well, son of a bitch, I have to get that now. Which meant I had to buy other stuff because if I'm paying for shipping, I gotta make it worth it.
Absolutely.
So I bought other things. But yeah, that was a convention discovery, and I love them so
Yes.
much. Their
Yeah,
social media is
that's the
on
really
point.
cool part about conventions. It's all, or most of the time, it's like small companies. Or
Yeah.
just like random ladies who make art or charms and junk in their garage. So it's just really cool. I always make it a mission to buy at least one piece of art or
Yes.
something like that every time I go, just to support other local artists, because like, I know how it's expensive to do, like, cosplay is very expensive.
Yeah.
And I do graphic design and all that kind of stuff, and I feel very obligated to support other
Yeah.
artists in their
and
endeavors.
It's a community too, yes. We wanna
That means y'all
share
too out
love.
there, when y'all go places, don't just buy the really cool big thing.
we don't need an update.
Try to find small town people and have nice conversation with them when you buy stuff from them. Get to know them as a human being.
I think I
like
ended
to
up
do
being
that.
an earring model for a guy, like, because I was like, oh, I'll put them on. And he was like, oh, can I take pictures for my Instagram? I was like, sure.
Yeah, I've done
Did
that.
never go look to see if that made it
Yeah,
anywhere.
I do that a lot in cosplay. If I go to a table and they like really love whatever I'm from, they're like, "Will you hold like my plushes and let me take a picture of you?" I'm like, "Absolutely."
Yeah. That's awesome. No,
Post
I
it
was
on your
just sitting
media.
there oh, I think it was my supernatural license plate earrings. That's what it was. Because I like
Nice.
immediately put them on because they were so fun. I was like, oh, and he was like, oh, pictures, and like, yeah, it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
It's
hilarious.
good times. It's good times.
And I
So,
can't remember the name of that company.
so you didn't go to a-con, but I know you've done cons.
Mhm,
I'm going to segue into our next topic of.
Look at you! It's like you're a professional.
I do this
Ooh, feeling
occasionally.
segues.
So, what celebs would you want to meet at a con?
Would
I
I
know,
want to meet?
I know
Okay.
you've already done Jason Momoa. Well, you haven't done. Maybe you have. I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But
If you
No, God, I would be like a pile of ashes, just combust. I have met Jason Momoa. It was
That's
one of the most ridiculous days of my life. That's a whole podcast that day. Anyways, also
I'm here for it.
one of my favorites I've ever met is this gentleman, Jeff Goldblum, was a
You got to meet him.
delight.
Oh, it's
Yes.
amazing.
He was like having the best time of his life because it's so much more fun to meet them when you can tell they're having fun.
Yeah,
There
and they're
he
not just
is.
like they're not just stuck signing autographs. and,
Right, right.
yeah.
Like, because there's some times where you're like, oh, they hate everything about this. They're just
Yeah.
getting a paycheck and fulfilling a contract.
Yeah,
Like,
and moving on
but
with their
he
lives.
and I found out later it was his first like con to appear at.
Oh, that's cool.
But he was like having about literally signing autographs. So like the stuff's coming along, but he's like, so you guys having a good time? What's your favorite
like,
part?
talking to you instead
Just
of
like not
paying
even
attention,
like
yeah.
like a friggin' professional. And then when we went to meet, like do our picture, I don't know like if one of us like leaned in or like hesitated. I don't know what happened, but because he was in the middle and he was like, "Get in here, girls!" and like squeezed us into him. We like died. It was hysterical. But he like so he was just having the most fun. Yeah, and then we were terrified that the picture was gonna be awful, but it was great. That's my friend Alicia. She's my con, but she's my friend in general, but we go to cons together a lot.
Yeah.
She's the one willing to stand in line for 12 hours with me to meet Jason Momoa, and she didn't even meet him. She just held my bag. She's a
good
ride
friend.
or die, man. A ride or die.
Awesome.
But who I would want to meet, I was so bummed David Harbour backed out of con this year.
Oh
because
yes.
He's on my list, and now even
He's
more
awesome.
so after this season. No spoilers, but I think he's a delight. Nick Offerman would also love to meet. I've seen his stand-up twice, but have not
Oh,
actually
really?
like met him.
My brother and his wife really want to go see him. like,
It's
stand
it's
up.
very fun. It's
Yeah.
very very fun.
Yeah.
Because I saw the first time it was when he had first wrote his Paddle Your Own Canoe book, and the second time I saw him is when he was touring with Megan Mullally, his
Ooh,
wife,
yeah.
which was hysterical. So I think those two would probably be pretty high up on my list, tippy tops. Can't think of anybody else. What y'all got?
So
I see some cropping and things going on. Over
yeah, I
there.
know. I'm distracted. There's a Jason Momoa on that screen over there.
So I'll give a little more background.
Hard. It's pretty.
I had decided, I'm like, if I'm going to spend all this time and money to have this picture made with Jason Momoa, I want to do something with it. And it was the beginning of November. And so I had Chase, who's in our community group and on streams and stuff a lot. He likes to, he'll Photoshop memes and things like that. And I was like, have I got an assignment for you? So I sent him the picture literally that night. I was like, here you go. Here's what I'm thinking. And he sent it back to me 20 minutes later. And I was like, get it to Walmart, print. It's ridiculous. And this is
So good.
still,
So good.
to this day, hanging on some of my friends' fridges and things. It was 2 years ago, yes. So
So
I
good.
didn't do one last year, but I've decided now that I kind of want this to be my thing.
Yeah.
And I have one lined up for this year
I approve wholeheartedly.
that
of
I'm
this.
pretty hyped about.
Oh, spoilers?
And not a mainstream celeb, but definitely very memed. And
Okay.
from a show on the History Channel.
Oh,
I'm so excited. Yes.
Okay, good.
You got it.
Okay.
nice.
I'm glad I was there.
I'm
That's
really excited.
amazing, and I'm here for it.
Girl, I'll put you on the list.
That's awesome. That's super
So,
awesome.
yeah. So go ahead and at me if anybody wants a Christmas card this year.
Super
God.
awesome. Yeah, I again feel like I can't really follow that up.
You can say who you want to meet.
Well, it's not something I usually think about because that's always it always just seems like a real pain in the ass to to do that stuff, the standing in line and stuff.
Yeah.
But
it helps to
I
have
agree.
a con buddy though.
Yeah.
if I were to, Jason Momoa is probably on everybody's list, I'm guessing, but
If he's not, he should be.
yeah, right.
I'll just tell you. He
Uh,
smelled real good. he touched real good. All that.
I'm fully thrown off track now.
What were we talking about again?
Oh,
Can confirm.
that happened. Okay. Con people. I don't know if like.
There it is.
Look at that.
He
So
was also very nice.
So what
to
did
me.
he smell like?
like man, but not like in a bad way. Like, trying to think of how to. He could bottle it and sell it. I'll say that. And maybe it's some type of cologne. I don't know, or essential oil. I don't know. That's a thing.
Fair enough.
I don't know, but I wasn't mad at it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let Camber go first.
Okay, so I'm there with you, just that it just seems like a very expensive thing for me.
Again,
When I
it
don't-
helps to have a con
Yeah,
buddy
when
to
I-
split
so-
the cost with.
Yeah, because I don't really.
Take away the wait in line and take away the price.
Yeah,
that's
this
the
is
thing.
just dream
I don't really
list, yeah.
care about celebrities that much, and that's the problem. I don't care about any of them
So
enough to go
fun.
through
Well,
that.
Then okay,
And so it's
my
like-
answer to this was actually going to be the Critical Role people.
That's literally my only one. Is
Yeah,
the cast of Critical Role.
I missed Akon the year that they went,
I know.
and I had a friend stand in line to get me Matt Mercer's autograph, and it's
Nice.
like one of my most
Nice.
treasured things because he like personalized it for me,
Yeah.
and he wasn't supposed to be personalizing. It was super awesome.
Breaking the con rules. I love it.
Yeah, it's freaking great. But well, at least maybe he just said that to make me happy. But whatever, I don't care.
Who
I'm happy
knows?
about it. But when I play D&D, I do the DM stuff and I write the stories and everything.
Yeah, same.
And,
I do too.
so he, to keep telling your stories and coming from him, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
that was the one I missed out on, but didn't miss out on that I would like to do.
Yeah.
But other people in like nerd culture like that, like Felicia Day and things like that, are the people
met
that I
her
would.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
You just meet
about
everybody.
this big
Yeah.
and the nicest thing ever. Like, and she came because I just did like a table selfie with her, and she came out and there she is, and it, like literally I felt like hello Felicia Day, because she's just like the tiniest,
there she
cutest,
is.
most fun
That's
little human
hilarious.
ever.
Yeah.
But one of those that's really nice and like spend some time and so it's actually fun when you want to meet the ones that aren't like a Jason Momoa where you're going to stand in line for 12 fucking
Yeah.
hours,
Yeah.
because you do get to actually spend a little time and talk
Yeah.
with them and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's neat. It's like you did
Yep.
a thing. And
Well, I've gone on road trips to meet authors I like. I'm a big reader, so like that's a thing, and they're almost always willing and able to talk and
Yeah,
chat and
Yeah.
love your existence because you love
Love-
theirs.
right.
and
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of
Absolutely.
more my thing, I guess. But
Yeah.
any others for you?
But yeah, I would agree. Yeah, the cast of Critical Role. So at Dallas Comic Con,
Look at- see, little tiny giant person.
at a fan expo this past year, I went with a whole group of Critical Role cosplayers. We had all of the Mighty Nine from Campaign 2, and Carrie Payton was there, known more for being on The Walking Dead. I don't even watch it, don't even know what his character's name is, because I don't watch The Walking Dead, but he's one of the guest stars. He plays Shikasta on Critical Role, and so all of us, like, there was, I don't know, 10 or 12 of us all waited in line to meet him, and he definitely, like, looked at us and then took a moment and realized, like, oh
What
my
was
gosh,
happening?
this is Critical Role. I didn't realize these people were going to be here, and like screamed, ran and gave us all hugs individually. He was like freaking out. We gave him all of like little gifts and stuff, and he took pictures with us, and he was like holding our Jester's lollipops, and he was like, you better tag me in all these pictures, and I want to see them. He was like so stoked that we were there, and I feel like he was just like impressed. He didn't realize he was going to be seeing people from Critical Role and
Something,
not just
yeah,
like The Walking
a
Dead. 'cause
smaller
that's what he was
role,
there
but
for.
yeah.
So he was really sweet. That was the first time I'd ever waited in line to meet any celebrity, and he was so sweet that I was like, maybe I should do this more often, but I'm just too cheap. And so
The other thing that you can do,
and there is a picture on there
for stories, it's
of,
coming.
of us meeting him, but yes, there are other pictures of
Stand
me and
by,
all of
it's
that
coming.
group as well.
Another thing
Um,
you can do that's just sometimes fun stories, like if you're walking through the like
you can do
meet
that
and
picture. That's
greet
not us
floor
meeting him,
and
but that
nobody's
is a
in
picture.
line. like just go up and say hi, and they'll like talk, and you don't have to pay. Granted, you don't get to like take a picture or anything with them. But
Yeah.
that's how Alicia and I met. The kid from, he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man, like my age, from Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
Is that him? But he has like a band now and stuff. Like we heard about that. He was like, "We're playing at this place." And I'm like, "Well, we probably won't go to that, but thank you." No, maybe that's not who it was. Fart.
No, the kid
Hold
from Rookie
on.
of the Year was in American Pie, though, so you're
So
not
I mean,
off
maybe
on
it
that.
maybe it was. Hold on. I will validate. Rookie.
But yeah, I was gonna
Everybody loves this kind of
say,
stream
these are the
content.
pictures that we have of us meeting him. They went away. You have to scroll further down on my.
No, maybe that wasn't him. What
This
movie
is
was
this
he
is
in?
good podcast content.
No, maybe maybe it's
Love
just
this.
on my page.
No, that is
not in
him.
my
Thomas
pictures.
Ian Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got it. I didn't know he was in American Pie. I don't watch inappropriate movies like that.
Oh, yeah. Inappropriate things are not your style.
But he was like just standing at his booth, so Alicia and I were like, hello, and he was like, hey, and we had like a 30-minute conversation about his band
That's
and a
cool.
movie he was producing and all kinds of stuff. So that's an option
Yeah.
if you're ever, you
And
know.
that's what, and I've done that with like cosplayers. Like if you
Mhm.
go on like a Thursday or Friday of a convention when it's not super crowded, you can like walk down the cosplay row and there's literally no one
Just
talking
nobody,
to
right.
them. So I just go like one table at a time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
hi, nice to meet you. And a lot of them are people I don't know, and some of them are people like Jessica Nagiri and
Matt
Nagiri,
told me
whatever.
about you getting to meet Yaya Han,
And
and I was
meeting
just
Yaya
so
Han.
excited for you.
Yeah, I know, and that was like, I remember like telling him like, hey, yeah, this is like Yaya Han's here, and she's probably the #1 cosplayer in the world, just in like success, and she runs like her own fabric line through Joann's and all this stuff. And so getting to meet her was pretty cool. And then like once again, I'm not like a huge like, oh my gosh, fangirl over celebrities, but it was just like cool to be like, hi, nice to meet you. You're like really impressive, and you've made like such a good run of this like lame nerdy thing called cosplay, and somehow you've like made a living off of it. So it's weird
And
to
she definitely makes it look cool.
yeah, exactly. So it's just like interesting to meet in something like that. It's one thing to be like a famous like movie star and you've like done things impressive, but like to be impressive in something that seems so like dumb as I still feel like cosplay is like this weird dumb thing. Like why do we spend all this time and effort and money to make costumes
Because
so we
it's
can walk
you
around
like
and people can take
it.
pictures of us? It's so weird.
'Cause you like
So but yeah, it was really cool meeting her, and I definitely want to continue to meet big time cosplayers. I have so many now on my list of people I follow, but they all live like overseas
Right.
or like in the north, and I don't ever go to conventions that high up, so I don't get to meet a lot of them. Though I did go to the one in Atlanta, Georgia, that now I can't remember, MomoCon, and I got to meet a few of like they're not like famous cosplayers, but ones that I
MomoaCon?
yes, MomoCon. But I did get
I'm
to
there.
meet a few that I've like followed for a long time that are like definitely more famous than me, but it was really cool to meet them, and they
Yeah.
were like super chill, down to earth people, and I like gave them gifts, and they were like crying and hugging me, and so I was like,
That's awesome.
I feel like I did
Yeah,
good today.
I'm just a straight up fangirl. I'm like, what? Stand in line for 2 hours to take my picture with Neville Longbottom? Let's do
Oh,
this.
yeah, I'm there for that.
I'm an introverted fangirl, so I do fangirl, but it's like back here.
yeah, it's not like
Nothing about me is introverted
waiting in line.
at all, ever.
Well, yeah. So anything else we want to talk about cons,
About
A-cons?
cons and con stories. We should go to a con together, guys.
We should start a free play convention.
Well,
you
it's
imagine?
been
It'd be
talked
so-
about
it
in
would
the
just
chat
be
already.
this.
We have Beltran Con has been talked about in the chat.
I just think it would just literally be this and like people coming in to have their birthday, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, hi, welcome to Free Play Con.
Yes. I would
Did you
just
get a 3-day pass?
I would just like to point out, if you would like to hire me to come stand at a random table at your convention in a costume, I am available.
At her.
At
and if
me.
you want to hire
will be there.
me to
Be my
come
chauffeur
to your
and
convention. Not sure what I can contribute. Actually, I'm
She can be at my table
actually
as
quite
well.
good at logistics, so if you need any help with that. I've always wanted to be, because I'm also like kind of fearless, so like to be the Gestapo who's like, don't take any pictures. Hey.
oh yeah,
Like I could do that job.
I could see you doing that job. Honestly, you'd probably be pretty
We
good.
said no pictures. So,
Good
I
times.
could do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've pretty well covered conventions. Tell us in the chat who your dream convention meet is.
Yes.
And
And we will chat about. I will say
I will
did,
try to have my picture made with them and send you a
Uh,
Christmas card.
because I'm cheap and I don't like to, pay money. But I did walk by and I was within arm's length of Chuck Norris at one convention,
Oh.
just to be like, I did it. And I saw Stan Lee at a distance.
I've
But I
seen
did not
Stanley
want.
at a
I did
distance
not
as
want to
well.
wait in line and pay lots of
That's-
money to meet
That's
him.
a hefty one.
Nobody
yeah.
was allowed to get that close to him at the thing. It was actually a work thing.
Oh,
that I was at.
for GameStop.
Yeah, and like people had to like win. Thank you.
Oh, can I?
Yes, perfect. Sorry, distracted by beer.
You had to win something to see
Yeah,
him?
like it was super limited. They weren't going to just let everybody because
Oh,
there was like
right.
6,000 of us.
Yeah.
And Matt was one of the people, and you weren't like you couldn't talk to him or anything. You had to be one of those people. You walk up to the table, and his assistant hands you a signed thing, and you weren't able to do any of that. So when Matt walked a little bit past, he was like, "Selfie!" Like, so he got that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Seems a little underwhelming. I mean, like I get it with that level of celebrity,
Yeah.
but
well, and he's
a little
was
bit of a
very
bummer.
old. Already.
Yeah, but see,
right.
that same thing, like the convention I went to was like very recent. So yeah, he was pretty old, and I think they were very limiting to people.
Ooh, LeVar Burton.
I don't know
That's
who
a
that
good one. I
is
pretty-
based on that name.
Yes, you do.
I was like, I probably know who it is, but not based on the name.
Did you watch Reading Rainbow growing up?
Oh, yes.
And also
okay.
Star Trek.
Got it. Okay, yes. I'm not very good with celebrity
Take a
names.
look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. You know.
I failed. I'm sorry.
But that's a different name, and if you hadn't, I get that.
Yes.
He would be a good one. He was in town recently, like doing some sort of performance art.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
I remember Mary like tried to get me to go. She tried to get like literally anybody to go with her, but it was on like a Monday, something random that like just couldn't make work.
Yeah.
Because she is a fan of him. She's a big old Trekkie.
That's awesome.
He was
Very
in
cool.
Star Trek.
Well, so bringing it back to the free play stuff.
Oh, what we came here to talk
Well,
about?
I mean,
yeah,
we
this
came here to
place
talk about
that
Panda
we're at.
things. So whatever. You guys both do a lot of the Tuesday night fights. I know you do the Pinball Mondays.
Yes.
I recently got to do the Fellowship of the Arcade where we do beat 'em ups and
That's a
play 'em
newer,
through.
yeah. That's a
Yeah,
newer
it was
thing.
super fun. I got to play Gauntlet.
Which is always the goal.
Yes. Oh, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so what are your favorite events? Or do you have event stories, like certain situations that were super awesome that you remember? Or funny or
Well,
stupid?
back in the day, we used to have an event called Ladies' Night.
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you've been to. I think I might have met you at Ladies' Night.
I'm pretty
actually.
sure. What? Because there was
'Cause you cosplayed
ladies' night,
for
like
the Star
like
Trek
yeah,
one.
was it like the Star Trek one? That was the one that I won. I won that because that's like one of my favorite games. That random Star Trek's strategic operations, whatever. And all the girls were like, "I hate this game." And I was like, "Ah, I love this game." I'm so bad at it, but it's so fun.
So that one was
So,
always
I always approve.
fun because we would try to have a twist where like you had to have a girl on your team or just
yeah, I did the
different things like that.
TMNT one for
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good
that was
times.
always fun. But I think most consistently I go to Tuesday night fights and it's fun. The format that we do is a 2v2, and so you get partnered with somebody who
Is good.
potentially or is good. Ah, the faithful
Yeah.
knight. Nicholas was determined to get this picture.
Yes.
And it turned out pretty good. Yeah, it was right over there.
Yeah.
So you get partnered with somebody who's good at the game, and so I've won Tuesday night fights because
Same.
of that, right?
Yeah. Finally, now I have one.
So it makes it fun, and then it also gives you the opportunity to play deeper into the tournament to where
Yeah.
you're getting so like
You get
time,
more
time
play.
killers. I almost won by myself. Like I barely lost, and then my partner Brian finished it out. But like
Yeah.
I almost won the whole thing by myself in that last match.
Yeah.
So it's fun, and then you get like I think Tekken. I like wrecked shop because Matt showed me like 2 moves.
Well, see, yeah,
to
it's
do.
nice
So I was
because
like,
that-
yeah,
do the 2 moves.
yeah,
Do the 2 moves.
yeah, whatever guy whatever better person you're with will kind of coach you
Right.
on like, hey, these are the combos you should be doing, or or at least like yell in your ear and go, you have your special, click,
Right.
click these.
Do it now,
That's what
do it
happened on
now.
the tournament I won.
Block,
They were like,
for the
all
love of
three,
God,
three
block.
circles,
Like-
3 in circles, 3 in circles, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
special.
and then there's me who's just like I don't know how to block. I'm just gonna mash, and I'm gonna choose a different character every time.
Yeah,
Zero
same.
consistency.
Same.
So probably I would have to go Tuesday night fights then. Yeah, all of that to say Tuesday night fights.
So whether you like fighting games or not,
Oh yeah,
Tuesday Night Fight is a good way to be introduced to weird ones, like when you play like
Metro
Primal
Melee.
Rage and ones that are just great. Like you would, it's not all Street Fighter and
ladies' night,
whatnot.
Primal
so.
Rage champion. Just saying.
I really like the idea of Tuesday night fights. I don't usually come up because it usually runs really late
Yeah,
and I
it
work
does.
really early.
It is.
And it's a little intimidating, but I love the 2-person format
Mhm.
because you are never Like, if you completely lose, it's not just your fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a really good time to learn. I really, really like watching them. I watch the streams almost every single week, and it's fun to not just watch the people play, but to hear the commentary. It's through that.
I'm
through-
very
Very
sorry you have to
colorful.
listen to all my commentary
I
on Tuesday
love
Night
it.
Fight because I'm usually on here.
It just makes me a little bit of a creeper, though, because I feel like I really super well know everybody in the community, and most of them wouldn't even know me by looking
Yes.
at me. So
You're like, hey Steve, has your dog gotten better?
right.
You know me.
Who the heck is that?
Yeah,
I
so-
had a moment. So this is a completely random story, but along those lines, I'm in a Facebook group for a podcast that I love, and they decided to do like an Elfster gift exchange in honor of Harry Potter's birthday at the end of the month.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. I'm not a nerd. And so
acceptable.
I didn't make a wish list on Elfster because I was just like overwhelmed with work and stuff, and like the thought of like sitting down and being like, buy me this, I like just overwhelms me, and I like couldn't do it. So I posted in the Facebook group like, I'm sorry to whoever gets me, like I have a lot going on, and for whatever weird reason the thought of making a wish list like fills me with anxiety. So like I'm a Ravenclaw, I would prefer House Stark, and like so just kind of gave a little
Ravenclaw.
rundown, and then I said that my sister, I was like, as penance, here's a picture of my new nephew I'm helping my sister, take care of. And so they could send you, like, in Elfster, once you get partnered up, they can send you a message, and it's anonymous. And so I get a message from my Elfster person, and they're like, are you still taking care of your nephew? And I was like, excuse me? Oh, yeah, I put that on the internet. That's something that is known. My bad. Like, but I legit had a moment of, like, this person's going to
person's
show up
watching
at
me.
my house.
NSA.
But it was just me being slow, and it was fine, and I don't have a stalker that I'm aware of. So if I do have a stalker, they're good at it.
It's good to know.
How long have we been doing this? It could be 3 hours. I don't know.
I don't know. When do we start?
51
all right.
minutes.
We're doing
Okay.
good.
Well,
all
cool. We're
right.
actually in
We're
a good
doing
solid.
So next up.
Wait, we're still talking about favorite
Yeah, we're
events?
still-
Oh yeah,
still
sorry,
in
my
events.
bad. I'm jumping the gun. This is why I shouldn't do the run sheet. You're
So
good. I just need to let you do
You
it.
got third on Pinball Monday recently?
Was I third? Or was that high up? Did I do that good? Okay, sure. I couldn't remember how high up I got. That one was kind of like a fluke, it felt like. So, like I said, I started playing pinball, really bad at it. I never really couldn't figure out how people actually were good at it. 'Cause I'm like, it's just luck. Like, the ball just bounces off of stuff, and you can't control that it goes down the middle. You can't control it goes down the side thing. And then I came to the big, like, spring series pinball tournament and got, dominated in it. But I spent a solid hours and hours playing more Total Nuclear Annihilation because it's my life goal to beat that one because it's the one I've decided that I'm going to beat just for whatever reason. And Chris and several other good pinball players were telling me oh, these are the things you should be moving the game in certain ways, or when you're in
It's
certain
not
areas.
actually cheating unless it dings at you.
Yeah, unless it tells you danger, you're fine.
That's still
And so-
always. I will never. I
Right.
can't.
It's
I
and
can't
and
do
I
it.
it cracked
I'm
me up
too much
because
of a rule follower in that regard.
yeah,
that
and
I'm
I
like,
watched the way the other guys shove the game, and I'm like, I'm very small, and I kind of just very carefully
my
tilted a little
husband
bit.
fixes these things. I don't want to.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
that-
want him
yeah.
working late.
yeah, same.
Be nice to the machines.
But yeah, and so that Pinball Monday, I just felt like I got really lucky, and I started actually getting some really decent scores
And-
on a few games. And there's
Also, you've been practicing.
and I had been practicing a lot. And there's a few games, especially my brother helps me with this a lot because he usually Googles what's the best strategy on each one of these pinball games, and he'll tell me right before I go. He's like, "Oh, you're
Nice.
playing Attack from Mars. Okay, you need to make sure you hold down this thing, do this thing," and he just straight up tells me everything that I should do properly. And that a lot of times ends up winning me.
Nice.
At least getting me first or second in that one so
Some
that I don't get a strike.
strategery.
Yeah, just having a little bit of extra strategy
Yeah.
on what gets the most points. Oh yeah, this is
Shannon, yeah.
yes,
So
yes, this is
Shannon
Shannon.
is a panda, and she has won
Pinball
outright
Monday.
the Pinball Monday.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Every time, whenever she gets paired with me at a table, I'm like, oh dang it, Shannon's really good. And there are several really good pinball players in this area. So if you like pinball, I definitely recommend Pinball Mondays because there's some good game. I mean,
yeah, good
the
turnout
last
of,
tournament we
legit
had some of the
pinballers.
best people I don't know in the world or at least the country out playing. Colin McAlpine, 13th in the world. And so he would be at a table
At our little
and
arcade?
scores would be 1 million, 2 million. He'd be 37 million. I'm like, he's definitely whooping all of us. Apparently, he beat Total Nuclear Annihilation in a tournament, and I'm upset now because I can't get to the second.
Amber's like,
I can't
I'm
get
out
to
of
the
here.
second reactor on my own. But one day
You'll
I
get
will
there.
reach there.
You'll get there.
But yeah, so Pinball Monday for sure is one of my favorites now. I feel like I hated it at the beginning because it's like, I just get 3 strikes and go home every single time, which, sometimes you do still end up doing that.
That's actually something I could probably do because then I wouldn't have to stay late.
True. Honestly, me and
Look, I participated.
the tournament that I did the best at, I felt like super sick. Right when I had gotten here, I started feeling really sick, and I was like, man, I just want to go home, but like I'm going to keep playing because I know I'm going to lose in like 3 rounds. And I kept winning, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go home so bad. So obviously carrying less gets you better scores is what I've discovered.
And it
So
just helps
I
in general.
highly recommend.
If you do lose. I find that carrying less in life.
Usually, it helps. Don't take it seriously. Yeah.
Lower your expectations.
But I do also really love puzzle nights because puzzle games are my favorite games, I would say, out of like my favorite category of games. I love Magical Drop, and I grew up with Bust-A-Move was like one of my favorites growing up, and so finding out that there was a more variety of puzzle games in the arcade, like the Money Puzzle Exchanger, whatever, the one with all the like Asian coins, that one's awesome. And then Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo,
The movie.
whatever
Puzzle Fighter.
combination of those words in whatever order.
The movie.
That one is also, I played for the first time at QuakeCon at 4 a.m. And now I really like it, and it's pretty fun. So I definitely, Puzzle Nights are, I feel like Puzzle Night is probably the tournament I expect to win on my own someday. I don't really count my Tuesday Night Fight as like a win on my own because my partner did all of the work.
I count it.
But I feel like Puzzle Night is where I will eventually get a win because I
Stand on
almost
your
beat
own,
Dylan. So I feel like if he's not there one night, and maybe my brother is also not there because a lot of times he beats me.
I think
then
you
I
could
possibly
beat
will have a
them,
chance
too.
at like Magical Drop 3 or something, and I will come in cosplay because there's some really good
Nice.
characters in Magical Drop 3 that I want to cosplay as. So
many options.
I know there's 2. I have a notes section on my phone that's literally just cosplays to do someday, and it's growing. It's really bad. Someone, if you would like to sponsor me to make cosplay, that would be great because it's expensive. But it is really fun. It's still worth it. Some people do meth and other people cosplay, and so it's basically the same.
I was going to say there are worse vices to have.
It's true. That's what I
Hobbies.
tell my parents when they give me weird looks when I'm dressed up. I'm like, hey, I could be drinking.
Hey, I'm
I
not
could be an
stealing from your
alcoholic.
jewelry box,
Yeah.
am I?
I'm not passed out in the front yard. I'm just
You're not
dressed like
bailing
a
me out of
weirdo.
anywhere. That's funny.
What about you,
Um,
Psycho?
Order 81's
As I
ready.
say.
Yeah.
If you have an
Go
order,
get you,
please
go
come
get
it.
your pizza, number 81.
I'm gonna just default to the Fellowship of the Arcade because that was the one that I got to be in. I like co-op things.
Same, for sure.
I don't mind playing against other people, but I feel like playing something together and going towards a common goal is more my level because everybody can kind of
Contribute in
contribute
their own way.
and not
There's no hatred of
right.
trying to beat
It's like
each other.
okay, well just because you're good now I can't do anything kind of thing. So I thought that was really awesome. It's fairly new and it's just doing the beat 'em ups, running through the entire beat 'em up so people can see what it is, and it was super fun.
Well, if we ever do Rampage,
Yeah. Ooh.
I'll be here for that.
Right.
Rampage is one of my favorites as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I do miss.
Yeah. I like Gauntlet too, though. That
I
one's
do
pretty
miss
great.
the scavenger hunt that we did a couple years ago, or was that last year? I don't know. Scavenger hunt was neat, where all summer we got to find different things. It gave me a lot of reasons to be up here a lot.
It is.
I mean, we do that now.
It is just
weekly.
a beast of an
We
event.
do it weekly.
Yeah,
on the Facebook group now. Scavenger
It gets
Sunday
posted on
scavenge.
Sundays. Yeah.
And so that's always that's a fun one. I need to do that tonight before I leave. Don't let me forget. I need to take a
what is it?
photo.
I've given up on my Hall
It's
of Fame.
Tapper Queen.
Queen.
Either beer or
queen.
A queen.
Nice.
So
What's going on?
if no one's taking a picture of Tapper, I claim it. It's right over there.
Is Lauren here?
I say you better go.
Yeah, or if Lauren's here, we see her, our resident world
Tapper
record
queen.
holder.
Oh, did she get beat?
No.
Has it become
She did,
official?
yeah.
I was about
Oh,
to
really?
say.
She did? Oh.
That guy who held it before her
Lame.
finally,
What a punk.
yeah.
Lame.
And she, I think
Disappoint.
right now is just comfortable in the knowledge that she could take it back if she wanted
If
to.
she wanted to, yeah.
Right, she's just got other stuff going
It's
on
just
in
like
life.
a lot
So
of
maybe one day.
commitment
Yeah.
to do it.
She's
So
she's
I understand.
the record holder of our hearts.
Yeah, in our hearts. Yes, 100%. I agree.
A queen or a beer or both. Ooh, challenge. Challenge. Yeah, I saw it is the 2-year anniversary of her breaking the record because I saw in my like memories on Facebook
Oh,
and stuff
yeah.
of us like getting started. That was a bonkers night.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
That was like when I was still early. Like I didn't really know anyone in this
Yeah.
group, and then I remember meeting her at the ladies' night and being like, "Oh hi, I know everything about you. I feel like,
Right?
but I've never actually met you."
See,
That
this
was-
is how I am with everybody.
Yeah.
Just watching the stream.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. And I also felt like she was going to be amazing at every other game I ever played with her, and then I discovered like, okay, she just really is
She
good
just
at
has
Tapper.
an affinity for Tapper.
Yeah, Tapper was just her jam.
But I remember, so we
very sweet.
streamed the whole thing, it's like 24 hours,
Yeah.
and we had these little things like in the middle of the night and we're delirious that would just kind of like keep us going. So like we had to keep track because there's only so much that'll display on the screen, so we had to keep track of like every time she gained a life or lost a life and different things like that. And so we would do like little silly stuff, like if she hit the point threshold for a life, we'd all go life like really loud. And so the next morning when the arcade reopened, people started coming, and we like
Y'all were
she
still
got it-
there?
Well, yeah, and so she like got a life, and like some random guy in the crowd was like life, and we were like, because he had been
a
like
thing.
watching the stream in the middle
Yeah.
of the night, and then like came up to the arcade. We're like, "What's up,
awesome.
dude?" Like he was like, "Yeah, I'm so and so from the chat." We're like, "What's up?" Like it was really fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's. I feel like that's such a claim to fame for free play in general.
Yeah.
It just seems very cool. We have like our little poster over there by Tapper that shows like, this is our resident amazing person.
We
You
have a
should
few
do
of
it
those
too.
now.
Oh my
there
gosh,
she
that was
is.
right before. Oh look, there's Beverly and David. That's my friend's parents. Ah! Oh, that was the 1 million glitch, right? Because she hit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it was. I'm like watching
yeah.
again and all. It was such a fun. There's her
Yeah.
husband Josh.
Yeah.
There's James. He's a panda. What's up, James?
Yeah, an amazing.
Oh, that was my little
Amazing
board
thing.
that we ended up having to ghetto rig, but that I made to keep track of all of her millions.
Awesome.
Bless her. Look, she's so tired and emotional. That was crazy.
So if you want to run and get a world record, hit us
we
up.
will support you. Yeah.
We'll do it. Chris keeps trying to convince me to do a King of Balloons. It's not even
That
here
gets a
anymore.
thumbs up.
This is the problem.
It is.
I think
it's right there.
Is
I
it
see
here
from
again?
where I'm sitting. Yeah.
I
She's
was
like,
gonna
you
say
mean that?
free play has this thing where they take all the games that I love and they try to get rid of them from Arlington. I think they do it on purpose.
They have meetings. Yeah.
yeah,
They're like, what's Camber
Camber really
into?"
likes Blueprint today. It's never coming back
It's
to
out.
Arlington ever
It's
again.
out.
Yeah. Gauntlet left was gone for a week or two before.
I cried enough that it came back.
I threw a bit of a fit, but I wasn't the only one who threw a bit of a fit.
Yes.
And it came
Gauntlet
back,
must
so
remain because I gotta get like a level 100 eventually.
Producer Chris had my back in the office.
Our liaison liaised.
Yeah.
So,
He did some good liaising.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of ready to wrap up.
oh, it says here that I get to read the disclaimer that I made up the first time
that you did
again.
not read and just said on the fly.
So as a reminder, none of us work for Free Play Corporate or any of its affiliates, any of its locations,
Or any free play at all.
any of that. We're here of our own free will, saying the
And
things
insanity.
that we believe to be true. So if we've said
Opinions.
anything
It's
that
all
you
opinions.
disagree with, that's too bad. And that's not Free Play's fault.
Yep.
So so I mean, if you want to let us know in the chat, that's fine. But
Also, we've been ignoring the chat the whole time, but
I've kind of peeked
but
in. I peeked
HD
in.
Atomica says that Gauntlet is an arcade mainstay and must stay at Arlington.
Preach.
So
Agreed.
See?
agreed. Super
Even
agreed.
the chat knows what's up.
Yes.
So that was the disclaimer again. And yeah.
So the next broadcast is going to be on Tuesday night. 7 o'clock is going to be Wheel of Fighters at Denton.
Wait, is that a broadcast? Are you broadcasting it?
Oh, that was the next. Nope. Fair enough.
Psych. So our next event.
That was the
will
next
be,
event.
Yeah.
I
Because
did
that
research.
one, so that one's is super fun because literally they'll take a wheel and put all the fighting games on the wheel.
And
And
they
so
just
before
spin
your
it.
match, you spin the wheel and it says you get to play this game. So it literally is like
It's all
you
of it.
don't know who's gonna right because it could be any fighting game.
Yeah.
So
So it doesn't matter what
whatever.
game you're good
But
at.
it also
'cause
therefore
it'll be
makes it really
random.
hard to stream because it can be any fighting game in the arcade.
Yeah.
So
it goes everywhere.
So
no
producer
stream that day.
Chris, what is it? It looks like Tuesday Night Fights at Richardson, Vampire Savior TV2. Yeah, apparently it
good
was
old
really big last
Vampire
time.
Savior.
45
Good
players.
turnout for that one.
yeah.
So a week from Tuesday will be the next broadcast, but Tuesday.
I know Vampire
Night
Savior. I
Fights
feel like I
in
will
Denton.
cosplay from eventually. It does have good stuff.
So
I'm working on it, man. Working on it.
It's on the list. It's on the
It's
notes
on the list. I have to do that and also keep up with all the other like normal cosplay I do that's not free play related. So if they would like to hire me to do all free play cosplay, I
the
need a
cosplay
fifth job.
correspondent. That's true. I'm a professional commentator. I was going to say communicator, so I'm nailing it. Yeah,
Lol.
I've been paid 1 yen for my work here. I still have it. Didn't spend it.
I have various Panda stuff that I have earned from all of my showing up at Panda events.
Panda
things.
things.
Yes, same. Unfortunately, I
Pandas
already
like to
owned this
pay
Panda
and-
fan. I didn't even buy it for this event. I bought it. I have it
What a
because I'm a
lucky-
hoarder.
What a lucky. I actually saw a weird hoarder nest car today. Anyways, that's unrelated. Next podcast. See
Next
you there.
podcast, I'll have my giant panda head that I own.
Yes.
I wish I would have brought it today, but I came straight from a Pokemon tournament and didn't have time. So
Wow.
in the future,
So something to get.
I will
psyched up about,
continue to
guys.
panda it up.
And oh, swirly dorly doo.
Are you showing random pictures off my Facebook? Oh,
There
yeah.
she
Oh, that was
Yes.
a good one. I loved that one. I watched the stream
Yes.
that night.
I was poisoned.
Conveniently, number 1 is cropped out over there.
Oh, I was going to say, there was another part of that cosplay.
Yes, there
Producer
was,
Chris, you
and-
should show the entire
Yeah, and
picture.
he's not going to show it, is he? Disappoint.
It was a partner
Disappoint.
cosplay.
It was a good one. I'm always willing.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna get it. So you're on the edges of your seats, I'm sure.
As we continue to say random things while we wait for that to arrive
yeah, so-
on screen.
But yeah, so free play Denton this Tuesday Night Fights won't be streamed, but you can just go on out
Go.
there and play.
Yeah, Will of Fires
And
is awesome.
then the following Tuesday in Richardson, Vampire Savior TV the movie 3.
No, just Vampire Savior.
Oh, okay.
Just the OG.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. You're number 1.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
But
And they
the-
were, during the fight, they were doing the emotes and stuff. It was
I
so
was doing
good.
lots of pointing and
Yes.
lots of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. It was great.
So
I
yeah, so
approve.
hopefully we'll see you at something. Come up and say hi. Do that fun lurker thing where you're like, hey, remember that? And then it will be less creepy that you're on the internet looking at you. I'm just kidding.
Vaguely.
You know what? That's fine.
She's like, I'm totally fine with being a lurker. And well, and if for whatever reason you've stumbled upon this and aren't a part of the community group, join the community group.
Yes.
I can't imagine that would be the case, but just in case, Free Play Arcade Community Group on
So
Facebook.
you should be able to just search that.
FreePlayHOF.com will link you over to it too. Freeplay HOF, short for Hall of Fame, because we have one
Now,
of
see, that's where the
those.
list of all the
True.
high scores of all the games available at Freeplay are. So if you really like a game, you can go check out the high score and decide if
And
you
they'd be
can
like,
beat it or
I
not.
can beat that.
And you can just like beat it here at Freeplay and take a picture of it with your Freeplay bracelet. I have 2 of them as proof that you played here and you got it here, and you can throw it up there.
Not at home in your basement.
And you can earn points, and those points go towards the like
Glory.
awesome
fame.
glory. I'm only ever come to any events for the points because eventually I'm gonna,
This year's
make
not
it
my
high
year.
up somewhere.
I've kind of given up on it this year. Next year. I say that
Yes,
every year.
beating my brother in the Hall of Fame. He was so mad when it came out. He was like, "Are you kidding me? I do so much better than you in all the tournaments. How
Hey,
are you beating me?" I was
it's
like,
not-
"1, I
not about that."
cosplay, and 2, I come to more tournaments than
I'd
you.
say you
Even though
just
I
gotta show
lose,
up.
I go to more
Yeah.
tournaments, so I'm beating him."
It genuinely is participation.
Yeah, 100%. You
in
can
all of the
definitely
things.
make it high up there by just showing up. So I highly recommend.
So booyah.
Yeah.
All right, friends. I think that's it
I
for
think
us.
we're G to G.
We love you. We appreciate you.
It was very fun seeing you here.
And
If you
we'll
if
see
you
you
liked
next time.
this, tell
God
them.
bless you.
Tell them, and we will do more.
Yes.
I don't know who them is,
Hey.
but tell them.
If you didn't like it and you don't tell them, we're still going to do more.
That's honestly accurate. Nothing you say will stop it.
Chris, Chris is our number 1 fan, so
As long as he says go, we will
we're
go.
going to keep coming at ya. All right, well, bye, friends.
Bye.
Can they still hear us?
Oh, no.